our online payment platform that allows you to make payments directly to NHC, get access to your account balance, have access to your payment history, and interact with our customer service department through the help desk feature. NHC ePay is secure, sleek, and simple to use. It can be accessed by going to our website www.nhc.kn, using your mobile phone, tablet, or desktop and clicking on Pay Online. For our existing customers who wish to make payments online, the process is simple. Sign up for ePay. Provide your address and contact number. This information will be used by our customer service department to verify your identity. During the verification process, our customer service department may need to call you to complete the process. Once verified, your account will be activated and an email will be sent confirming your activation. Once activated, you will use the username or the email used during the sign-up and the password to access your account. Once logged in, click on Pay Your Bill to make payments to your account. All receipts of payments made within ePay will automatically be emailed to you, and you will also have access to them via the payment history link in your account. Feel free to use the help desk feature to contact the customer service department on any issue with your account or any other questions you may have related to NHC. We are pleased to make this service available to you, our customers, and look forward to as much customers signing up, which would not only provide 24/7 access to your NHC account, but provide a secure and easy way to interact with NHC.
Everyone, and welcome to Leadership Matters. We're coming live to you from ZIZ TV studio with a beautiful new set designed by Mr. Rondon Carr, one of our producers. Over the coming weeks, the Leadership Matters virtual forum series will focus on the big stories and issues in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, and it will also show how leadership in practice is helping to transform the nation and people's lives. One such big story is the vital role that Social Security is playing in providing COVID-19 economic relief, in addition to the other stimulus measures that have been rolled out by Prime Minister Harris's administration. We will delve into all of this and more, so don't miss tonight's edition of Leadership Matters. But first, we will show you some highlights from the National Housing Corporation's 24th anniversary celebrations. We have the minister who has responsibility for the NHC here in studio, and you will hear from him and the Honorable Prime Minister after the break.
National Housing Corporation revolutionized the way construction was done, especially building small, middle, and low-income housing. We built houses with bigger bedrooms, bigger bathrooms, all painted, cupboards, well suited and tiled, first-class quality. I usually refer to those houses which we built as houses fit for kings and queens. But we also built some studio units in St. Peter's, a place called Paris. Those studio units are ideal for the single person seeking to begin to build his own life, understanding what it is to be living with responsibility for themselves and for all of the utilities associated with the home. In this new term, we will do many more of those across the country. It is why on this 24th anniversary occasion, I am pleased to be here to say happy 24th anniversary to those who have all been associated with the National Housing Corporation over many years. I think the next 4 years is an exciting period, a period when young people in particular should benefit from the work of the ministry and should benefit from the work of those who work at National Housing Corporation. I should say overall, benefiting from the work of the Team Unity administration. Happy 24th anniversary.
Just want to congratulate the National Housing Corporation for its 24th year in existence. NHC, as we know it, I believe have come a long way, and I too want to congratulate even the past board members who would have brought NHC thus far. I know under my watch as chairman of the board, we would have brought in some new ideas. In very short order, the corporation would be introducing online payments, and I trust that our clients can take advantage of that. I would also like to congratulate the other members of the board, the National Housing Corporation board and management team and staff for this 24th year of existence of the National Housing Corporation.
Happy 24th anniversary, NHC.
I am Juliana Edmead from the Purchasing Department, wishing NHC happy 24th anniversary.
It is my turn to wish NHC a happy 24th anniversary.
Guess what? It's our anniversary. Happy 24th anniversary to NHC. Yeah.
Happy 24th anniversary, NHC. It's been a pleasure serving the people with you.
Happy 24th anniversary, National Housing Corporation.
Happy 24th anniversary, NHC.
NHC ePay is our online payment platform that allows you to make payments directly to NHC, get access to your account balance, have access to your payment history, and interact with our customer service department through the help desk feature. NHC ePay is secure, sleek, and simple to use. It can be accessed by going to our website www.nhc.kn, using your mobile phone, tablet, or desktop and clicking on Pay Online. For our existing customers who wish to make payments online, the process is simple. Sign up for ePay. Provide your address and contact number. This information will be used by our customer service department to verify your identity. During the verification process, our customer service department may need to call you to complete the process. Once verified, your account will be activated and an email will be sent confirming your activation. Once activated, you will use the username or the email used during the sign-up and the password to access your account. Once logged in, click on Pay Your Bill to make payments to your account. All receipts of payments made within ePay will automatically be emailed to you, and you will also have access to them via the payment history link in your account. Feel free to use the help desk feature to contact the customer service department on any issue with your account or any other questions you may have related to NHC. We are pleased to make this service available to you, our customers, and look forward to as much customers signing up, which would not only provide 24/7 access to your NHC account, but provide a secure and easy way to interact with NHC.
It is important that we pay our mortgage on time at NHC for your future security and a peace of mind. It is important that we pay our mortgage on time at NHC. It's your responsibility and it's also mine. The management and staff at NHC wants to encourage all who holds the key to keep up to date, pay your mortgage on time for your future security. It is important that we pay our mortgage on time at NHC for your future security and a peace of mind. It is important that we pay our mortgage on time at NHC. It's your responsibility and it's also mine. Visit us at Park Range, Bastia, or call us today at 869-466-4701 for your future security. Easy na man.
Some companies are seeing lower revenue resulting in cash flow due to slow activities as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Thus, persons will experience financial difficulties that may be traumatic. It can be very devastating for persons who have been made redundant or received salary cuts due to the COVID-19 pandemic or any other reason, as a matter of fact, because everyone has bills to pay and their families to take care of. This is why the National Housing Corporation, NHC, we are making it a bit more comfortable for homeowners. Being without a job can drive anyone insane. You can lose your home, your vehicle, health benefits, go hungry, and the list goes on and on. And so, NHC has put in place some measures to assist homeowners who have suffered from loss of jobs, reduced work hours, or salary reduction. What we did was adopt ECCB's suggestion of a moratorium benefit that gives homeowners a 3-month deferment on their mortgage payment and a waiver on accrued interest. In doing so, qualified homeowners' daily interest will be waived for 3 months, and they do not have to worry about making their mortgage payments for 3 months as well. Of course, there are prerequisites for them to benefit from this offer, and these prerequisites are: you must be current in your monthly payments, you must submit an unemployment or related letter from your employer, or you must submit proof of entrepreneurship, That is, if you are self-employed. Although we stated that you must be current in your monthly payments, we still must use our discretion as some persons have other underlying issues. If you fit any of these categories, the process begins with you coming into NHC and speaking with the client relations officer. Our competent staff will ensure that you are guided in the right way to complete this transaction. NHC has been monitoring the COVID-19 pandemic and adhering to the NEOC and task force protocols to keep our staff and homeowners safe at all.
Welcome back to Leadership Matters. Joining Prime Minister Dr. The Honorable Timothy Harris tonight is Minister of Human Settlement, National Health Insurance, Social Security, Ecclesiastical Affairs, Social Development, and Gender Affairs, the Honorable Eugene Hamilton. Tonight, you will have an opportunity to give your input and ideas toward how the government can create a stronger and safer future for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis post-COVID-19. And you are also encouraged to ask questions on any other issues of interest or concern. The call-in numbers are 869-466-2666, 662-8674, 767-4765, and our overseas line is 239-645-4500. Questions can also be sent via WhatsApp to 869-661-5683. However, first preference will be given to those who phone into the program. I now invite Prime Minister Harris to present his opening remarks.
Thank you very much, Valencia. My fellow citizens and residents, thank you for tuning into tonight's edition of Leadership Matters. This is our Federation's most popular interactive program, engaging thousands of participants across various platforms, Facebook, YouTube, and radio stations and ZIZ TV. Our focus continues to be to secure the stronger and safer future for St. Kitts and Nevis in spite of the global pandemic. COVID-19 presents a real and present threat to world stability, growth, and development. Here in St. Kitts and Nevis, we continue to gain international recognition for our leadership and success in managing the virus. Recently, the US-based Center for Disease Control, CDC, reclassified St. Kitts and Nevis from a level 3 risk destination to a very low-risk destination as far as COVID-19 is concerned. Accordingly, the CDC says no travel health notice adverse to St. Kitts and Nevis is required. This is a significant recognition of our leadership in the management of COVID-19. I commend our conscientious citizens and residents for their responsible behavior so far. We have to be careful, however, that an overzealous few do not create a spike in the coronavirus disease by their inappropriate behavior. We have to be careful not to squander the gains made over the last 6 months by throwing caution to the wind by non-compliance with the non-pharmaceutical measures which up to this time are the only known way to reduce the spread of the coronavirus disease, avoid the overwhelming of the health system, and ultimately deaths. Globally, there are 27,236,916 confirmed cases of COVID-19, with 891,031 deaths recorded, and 203,897 newly diagnosed cases were recorded within the last 24 hours. In St. Kitts and Nevis, we have no active cases and no deaths, and we praise God for this. With plans to open up the country in October, our citizens and residents must use the intervening period to perfect their compliance with health protocols, including practicing hand hygiene by frequent washing with soap, the wearing of masks, and practicing social and physical distancing. The unauthorized hosting of large parties and other events are in contravention of the laws, and law enforcement will enforce the law against all who breach the regulations. By breaching the regulations, we risk a spike in infections associated with the coronavirus disease, and we threaten the well-being of the vulnerable groups. Those who know better must do better. Lives are at stake. We have not come this far to go back into lockdown again. Monday this week, our schools reopened. Some 15,000 students across our islands of St. Kitts and Nevis have to be managed in a safe environment. This is a most significant development in our opening up of the society in advance of our borders being fully opened. Let us not add to our challenges at this crucial time. I ask for the understanding of all and responsible action by all our people. Those who know better must do better now. A word to the wise should be enough. I turn now to selected independence activities. And one of the highlights of our 37th anniversary celebration is the Prime Minister's lecture series. This year, 26-year-old businessman, Mr. Mark Pennyfeather, a mechanical engineer by training, has the privilege of delivering a lecture that hopefully motivates all of us to reaffirm our love for St. Kitts and Nevis, our commitment to build it and make St. Kitts and Nevis the Garden of Eden in this hemisphere. So many opportunities are available, and we need all our sons and daughters to seize these opportunities. I invite all to tune in tomorrow night to the lecture series. This Sunday afternoon at Warner Park Cricket Stadium, we will have our Independence Church service, a truly national event. We have so much for which we must give God thanks. Let us attend the Independence worship, wearing our masks and observe social distancing as we enjoy the songs of praise, turn into thanksgiving and supplication to our omnipotent and omniscient God. We commemorate independence under the theme Resilience, Innovation, and Security for Independence 2020. Mr. Pennyfeather is amongst a cadre of young persons whose discipline, entrepreneurial zeal, patriotism, ideas, and philosophy of life are the stuff on which nations excel. That is why my administration has established a Ministry of Entertainment, Entrepreneurship, Talent Development, with ICT as a subject within that ministry. This ministry will coordinate government's response to an enhanced role for young persons in nation building. As we build out our new Ministry of Entertainment et al., we will unveil of our national policy to provide the necessary facilitating environment in which ideas emerge, talent shines, mentors volunteer, and venture capital and other support are available to new young entrepreneurs. I commend our young people who dare to be different, to take a chance and dare to persevere. We only need a start, and we only need a spark. I have been impressed by the passion of our young people to excel, particularly in non-traditional areas. Names like Sister Sensia, Desi Brown are young, talented artists. Our country has many talented people. We cannot afford to lose them as we continue to build our nation, making it the Garden of Eden. We want our young people everywhere to shine the light, and in so doing elevate their lives and the lives of others here in St. Kitts and Nevis. My hope is that more of our young people will add something of value to our beautiful country by the effective way in which they utilize their talents in music and entertainment, visual arts, craft, photography, choreography, literary arts, science, technology, engineering and maths, fisheries and agriculture, etc. I wish to commend Jonathan Brown of J Black Productions, a photographer whose photography tells a story through its imagery, its background and angle. Equally, I commend and acknowledge Amali Harmony. It was my encounter with him that jolted me into imagining the new Ministry of Entertainment et al. I expect him and others to continue to give ideas as we fine-tune the further conceptualization and build-out of this new ministry. Open Interactive showed incredible talent in managing Teams Unity's virtual campaign, coordinating with other young talents like Alexis St. Just and Azem Bailey. I want to thank and commend them all. The next 5 years of my administration, I dedicate to the young people of St. Kitts and Nevis, who are not asking what their country can do for them, but are doing incredible feats to and for their country. My government will facilitate, my government will help, but ultimately our young people must take the leap of faith in themselves, their ideas, their dreams, their country, and their God. Our efforts at nation building must and will be all-inclusive and non-discriminatory. All hands are required to make my beloved St. Kitts and Nevis the best managed small island state in the world. Our collective efforts must build a prosperous, secure, and resilient St. Kitts and Nevis, where innovation, entrepreneurship, and superb performance are recognized, rewarded, and incentivized. Tonight, I am honored to have my cabinet colleague, the Honorable Eugene Hamilton, the distinguished repeat representative for the beloved people of St. Christopher VIII. Mr. Hamilton has portfolio responsibility for housing, national insurance, social security, social development, among other subjects. I welcome him to Leadership Matters. As far as an update on the stimulus package is concerned, I am pleased to report that during the course of this month, the Social Security Board will make a special payment to unemployed registered workers who are not in receipt of any state inflows, for example, severance payments. Minister Hamilton will perhaps engage the community further on this matter. Speaking about severance payments, the Labor Department has begun the processing of severance claims. We expect by next week some employees will be receiving their payments. I am advised by the Minister of Labor that some $11 million have been provided by the federal government to the Severance Fund to facilitate settlement of legitimate claims. Some 1,158 claims on the fund were received as at September 4th, 2020. We ask for patience as the processing continues. All lawful claims will be settled, but of course, all can't be settled at the same time. In closing, I thank the people of St. Kitts and Nevis for their love and support. I pledge always to do my very best for this country of St. Kitts and Nevis and its people, whom I love so very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Prime Minister. I now invite Honorable Minister Hamilton to present his opening remarks.
Thank you, Valencia. Good evening to all of our viewers and listeners to Leadership Matters. I am indeed pleased to join the Prime Minister on this occasion. Our team leader involves his team in the development of this nation, and on this occasion I will share with you from my ministries. I have been fortunate to have been granted human settlement, universal health, social security, ecclesiastical affairs, social services, gender affairs. And I will begin with National Housing Corporation because this week we are celebrating, in fact I should say this month, we are celebrating the 24th anniversary of this institution. So from the 1st of September we have begun the journey of what is our 25th Jubilee. The National Housing Corporation has been celebrating, and on Sunday, last Sunday, we attended the church service at the Antioch Baptist Church and celebrated with some members of the staff and the community the fact that NHC was born in 1996 in September. The following day there was a breakfast at the NHC and 5 members of staff were honored because they have been with the corporation for 24 years. And so I want to take the opportunity to congratulate Helena Charles, Mavis Warner Powell, Camilla Williams, Tamina Byron, and Merton Nelson. Those persons began all the way back in 1996 and are still there. So I want to congratulate them. We further, the next day, launched a couple of customer-focused videos to sensitize the public about NHC initiatives. And on perhaps almost every social media platform, these initiatives have been aired. Then, of course, there was a program which was done here at ZIZ, Working For You, in which I engaged with the chairman and the public relations and client relations manager, where we shared for at least an hour and a half or 2 on all of the initiatives which NHC has undertaken over the years, the last 4 or 5 years, and what we were launching during the week, this week of celebration. Then, of course, there was a program on a live done by the member of the board, Candice Keynes, and General Rollins from the corporation, where they spoke to many initiatives, including the fact that they were launching online initiatives, ways to pay for your mortgage online using JAD and other technologies. And one of the reasons why we focused on payment is, as you're aware, COVID has hit the entire world, but certainly in St. Kitts and Nevis we have felt it in all of our institutions, and NHC was no different. And so as a result we have had some persons who may have been delinquent, but others who may have become even more so as a result of COVID. So we're providing opportunity for them to meet with members of staff to discuss how to avoid arrears and building up of your mortgage. It is important for me to mention now that one way to avoid being strangled by your mortgage payments is to pay on time and pay ahead of time. Because arrears only build added interest, which is of no credit to you who are paying your mortgage. So while there's difficulty, sit with your individuals at NHC, because there will be some response that can help you to avoid adding unnecessary added interest to your mortgage payments. I began with NHC, and perhaps I should look at the broader ministry and how it fits into the overall human settlement and housing policy of the state. For example, we are aware that we have engaged private sector institutions like TDC and others to help to build out the housing stock of the country. And recently we have engaged with private developers. We are having these discussions so that we can provide housing for middle and middle upper income persons as well. So while NHC has a focus on poor, indigent, and those who are in the low income bracket, we are also engaging stakeholders in building for those who might be the young professional, the entrepreneur, who would want to get a home and just pay for it rather than be engrossed in all of the difficulties and challenges of building a home for oneself. So towards this end, we have engaged in discussion with the developer, and the success of that new development will offer unique advantages to young professionals, to young businessmen, and so on, to own the home of their dreams. I believe that ZIZ might be able to show you on screen a picture of what we have in mind as I speak, because there are at least 2 samples that may attract the middle income homeowner, because that is where we want to take construction from middle income and upper income, well, middle to upper income in the near future. That won't be NHC, let me tell you. That would be private developers. We are engaging to build quality homes for our people. I want to move on to something which is very troubling to the Team Unity administration in terms of the human capital and how they are housed in our country. Because we know from a study in 2016 that there were several persons who did not have running water in their homes and did not have bathroom and toilet facilities, and some who were still with pit latrines. Now that is something which has come from all the way back in the 80s, when only 20% of our people enjoyed that. And we have reduced that all the way down into the 90% now, but we have to complete that task in this 5-year period. And so as our nation has graduated, based on all of the data and international tests that have been applied, we need to move our nation's people to the point where at least they will have water, bathroom facilities in their homes. The study that was done in 2016 showed that in Nevis, for example, there were 105 persons that still had pitch latrines by 2016, and there were 42 persons who had no facility of toilets at all. And in St. Kitts, there were 211 persons who were still with pit latrines, and of course 194 without any toilet facilities. We will eradicate that. The Team Unity administration will eradicate that in this term, so that at the end of this term, we should have 0 persons who are plagued with these challenges of no water or bathroom facilities in their home. It is a challenge which I give to my ministry, and which I am pushing my Team Unity administration to work with me on, so that at the end of this term, we can say that those people who had this challenge, they have benefited from the work of the Team Unity administration. I want to turn, if I may, to another aspect of my ministry, which has to do with waste management. And I'm so pleased that I have been offered solid waste again for the second term, because we started a project with solid waste back 2 or 3 years ago, trying to remove all of the derelict vehicles that we have and all of the scrap metal that we have strewn around the country. And so, despite the fact that we were faced with COVID in the last few months, we were able to continue that program and continue our regular program of removing waste and taking it to our landfill. And during the lockdown, there was no substantial interruption in the movement of waste from your homes. You have benefited from the government's project of bins, waste bins, near your homes, to bring some measure of control and to measure the quantity of waste that is being disposed by our householders and our businesses as well. And I am pleased that we did not have any interruptions during the period of pandemic, and I have to thank the staff of Solid Waste, those who came out and worked during those days. Thank them for their commitment. They could easily have, stayed away and caused havoc, but they came out and worked. And I want to thank all of those persons who worked during that period, as described by those of us who are essential workers. I am glad that they turned out and worked because they helped to keep our country safe. We had introduced a twice-weekly collection program, and it has been successful. It has caused us to realize a 30% increase in domestic waste collection, and this is a significant increase over the period. I want to take the opportunity to announce at this point that Solid Waste will be putting on an additional afternoon shift to further bolster the domestic waste collection program. We are doing all of this as we move towards considering waste to energy in St. Kitts and Nevis. I believe that for taxi drivers, even for some unemployed hotel workers who may possess the necessary class driver's license, could be employed as temporary environmental and domestic waste collectors until the tourism industry begins. We have, of course, embarked on the Litter Wardens program, and we put them to work and shift into the night sometimes because people are deliberate in disposing of waste in areas where they should not. And so I would want to move very quickly to the derelict vehicles because I think we have spent some time at the start. So far I can indicate that we have already bailed over 5,000 vehicles, derelict vehicles that were strewn across the country, creating havoc for health. I want to turn to the last part of my opening presentation. It would appear that my studio would want a break, but I really want to talk about the COVID payments of which the Prime Minister spoke. So over the past 6 months, in addition to the regular duties of Social Security Board to provide benefits to eligible persons, Social Security officers have been engaged in the processing of COVID-19 relief funds. Payments began on 20th April 2020 as promised, and continuously and daily uploads to the various bank accounts and dispatching of checks up to the 31st of August 2020. On August 31st, 2020, a grand total of $20,344,755.59 was disbursed. For the month of April, 8,275 persons benefited from the program to the tune of $7.9 million. And for May, 7,964 persons benefited from the program to the tune of $7.6 million. And for June, 5,289 178 persons benefited from the program to the tune of $5 million. As the minister, having noted the continued state of unemployment, particularly for those engaged in the tourism sector and related entities, it became necessary to authorize an additional injection of $7 million to be made. As you would recall, it was originally $15 million, so we increased that to $22 million. On 2nd September 2020, I sought the support of the board in authorizing an extension to the release fund to be paid for the month of September 2020. In order to manage the disbursement process, a set of approved guidelines were established. Eligible persons will be provided a grant in the amount of $1,000. Payments will begin on the 25th of September 2020. The most salient points are detailed, and I will touch on them for you. A certified list of all persons confirmed as laid off, unemployed due to COVID as at 31st August 2020 should be submitted by employers within the tourism sectors and any other sector that is so affected. The list, of course, will be verified by the Social Security team and our compliance unit. Pre-existing applicants do not need to apply, but new applicants can apply if they are so affected. The list from employers and any new application form must be submitted to Social Security Board no later than the 18th of this month. Let me repeat that. Should be submitted no later than the 18th of this month. Persons in receipt of Social Security pensions or benefits are not eligible for the payment. Government employees, employees of statutory corporations and step employees are not eligible for the payment. Persons in receipt of PAP and any other form of income from the government will not be eligible for payment. An employee who has filed for and received his or her redundancy payments will not be eligible for payment. Let me be careful in saying that. An employee who have filed and received. If you have not received, you're still eligible. But if you have received your redundancy, you're no longer eligible. Self-employed persons in the tourism industry who are registered before March 1st and who have not resumed the activities, they are eligible. I will stay here and leave the rest of the information as we have discussions throughout the night. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister Hamilton. We will take a quick break, but before we do, I'd like to give you the numbers to phone again. When we come back from the commercial break, we will take your calls. The numbers are 466-2666, 662-8674, 767-4765, and our overseas line is 239-645-4500. We'll be back after a quick break.
It is important that we pay our mortgage on time at NAC for your future security and a peace of mind. It is important that we pay our mortgage on time at NAC. It's your responsibility and it's also mine. The management and staff at NAC wants to encourage all who holds a key to keep up to date, pay your mortgage on time for your future security. It is important that we pay our mortgage on time at NAC for your future security and a peace of mind. It is important that we pay our mortgage on time at NAC. It's your responsibility and it's also mine. Visit us at Park Range, Bastia, or call us today at 869-466-4701 for your future security. Easy, man.
NHC ePay is our online payment platform that allows you to make payments directly to NHC, get access to your account balance, have access to your payment history, and interact with our customer service department through the help desk feature. NHC ePay is secure, sleek, and simple to use. It can be accessed by going to our website www.nhc.kn, using your mobile phone, tablet, or desktop and clicking on Pay Online. For our existing customers who wish to make payments online, the process is simple. Sign up for ePay. Provide your address and contact number. This information will be used by our customer service department to verify your identity. During the verification process, our customer service department may need to call you to complete the process. Once verified, your account will be activated and an email will be sent confirming your activation. Once activated, you will use the username or the email used during the sign-up and the password to access your account. Once logged in, click on Pay Your Bill to make payments to your account. All receipts of payments made within ePay will automatically be emailed to you, and you will also have access to them via the payment history link in your account. Feel free to use the help desk feature to contact the customer service department on any issue with your account or any other questions you may have related to NHC. We are pleased to make this service available to you, our customers, and look forward to as much customers signing up, which would not only provide 24/7 access to your NHC account, but provide a secure and easy way to interact with NHC.
It is important that we pay our mortgage on time at NHC for your future security and a peace of mind. It is important that we pay our mortgage on time at NHC. It's your responsibility and it's also mine. The management and staff at NHC wants to encourage all who holds the key to keep up to date, pay your mortgage on time for your future security. It is important that we pay our mortgage on time at NHC for your future security and a peace of mind. It is important that we pay our mortgage on time at NHC. It's your responsibility and it's also mine. Visit us at Park Range, Bastia, or call us today at 869-466-4701 for your future security. Easy no man.
NHC ePay is our online payment platform that allows you to make payments directly to NHC, get access to your account balance, have access to your payment history, and interact with our customer service department through the help desk feature. NHC ePay is secure, sleek, and simple to use. It can be accessed by going to our website www.nhc.kn, using your mobile phone, tablet, or desktop and clicking on Pay Online. For our existing customers who wish to make payments online, the process is simple. Sign up for ePay. Provide your address and contact number. This information will be used by our customer service department to verify your identity. During the verification process, our customer service department may need to call you to complete the process. Once verified, your account will be activated and an email will be sent confirming your activation. Once activated, you will use the username or the email used during the sign-up and the password to
Welcome back to Leadership Matters. We'll take your calls. Just a reminder, when you're calling us, please step away from the television set, the radio, the computer. Just speak with us when you dial the number, just talking to the phone. Good night, you're live on Leadership Matters. Hello, good night.
Good night, everybody. Will be on the head table.
Good night, sir.
Yes, go ahead, please. We can hear you.
And it's in Cameroon. 14 doctors die already. Because remember, them is up front with people. And they got a strike on the doctor right now because they say nothing is sure for them. For them and the family when they're dead. Now before, in this federation, you got 20 doctors. And they only left 12. You understand? So when the gate open, we're going to be there on a serious note. Very serious note. In this country here. Now they're talking about the vaccine. America, England, and China. They're saying when the vaccine comes, a woman was interviewing, I think he's a scientist, a doctor he was interviewing, saying that who first going to get it. Now it's a money thing. They put in big money in it. So, we old time people used to say, Pastor Christian pick me first. So you expect that they're going to get their one first. So they're talking about the Caribbean in the morning. So we're going to get last. Because the women was telling them demand that I don't think they say because the needy and the poor people should be getting it first. But they don't think so. When people put money into things, they don't care. Right? They don't, and nobody, when people put the money into things, they don't care who dead now, who live. So we in this Caribbean country here got to look for the people first. There are also one investment we're getting from outside and inside. We got to look for our people first in the Caribbean here, especially St. and Nevis, because everybody going to be on their own owner. So the prime minister going to find money to put in. And the lockdown will be hard already. If we get a next lockdown, that means you're going to have the money, And it's going to be a serious thing. People are going to be abusing you. Because everybody love you, People talk to you, but nobody like you. Because sometime up to yesterday afternoon, 2 o'clock, I was going to town. And I was on a bus. And they were talking about you. What was going on. But I don't pick up everything because it will be confusion. Because sometimes people say things because they work for unity. Because they were talking about you couldn't wait for this and you couldn't wait for that. But if you wait all the kind of the country will be behind still. That's the thing about it. All the country will be behind still. And you went in the house to pass for the two-term and 3 of them went there and they don't say nothing. They don't say nothing. So who is the godless man? You know they're going dead in a shoes? Now boots. You understand? So you take on the people. They got some people called in front practice program to last night. Woman, I don't want them set the government into nothing because election just gone. And they got to be careful how they speaking about the government. Because I don't want to put wherever they hear. Some of them everything will hear you could come on the radio with. So they got to be very careful. So that they cannot confuse you. So I don't want you to know nothing.
Thank you. Do you have a specific question?
Good night, sir.
Hello?
Hi, good night. You're live on Leadership Matters. What's your question?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Prime Minister and Brother Hamilton and the rest of the table. Brother Hamilton, first I want to wish you happy belated birthday, which was yesterday. And I am your brother because tomorrow I will be born. Now, Mr. Prime Minister, I want to tell you that you are doing a wonderful job, a marvelous job. Cannot be unspoken about. And you are highly recognized all over the world for the way you are running this country. And I want you to continue that way. Now, I would like, when you open the gate, don't shove back the 2.5 all the way. Just open it a little, that we can take in one person at a time and let out one person at a time. Because we have a culprit in this country here who is running from England. And when that gate is open a little, I know England gonna send down a DC-3 for that culprit. And once that culprit gone, you pull back in the gate and we clean up in the country with our virus of the COVID-19 and all the wrongdoing in this country. Now, Mr. Hamilton, I want to say something about the Ministry of Health. There are some people working in the sanitation part of the Ministry of Health, and they are very deliberate in what they're doing to this country. What they're doing, they put in mattress bed and sidewalk and throwing the garbage as though, well, then a hurricane wind is passing, so it blow the trash out the hand. But they are deliberately nastying up the place. And they are doing that there because they want to cast a bad image on the island of St. Kitts. I don't know about Nevis. And I want you, Mr. Hamilton, to get into those people who are supposed to see that the country is being kept clean, to get up out of the chair and do their work. Because they're just collecting money and they are not out on the street to see that they drain them clean. So please get down on them. Sanitary people who are supposed to be wharfing judges. Too many persons have a lot of issue with the nastiness what they're doing in this country. Thanks very much.
Thank you, caller. Good night. You're live on Leadership Matters.
Good night. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, good night. This is Bucky Got It Media. Good night to the Honorable Prime Minister.
Good night, Becky.
Some persons don't like when I call in. They said I should not tell you that you're doing a good job. But I'm here to tell them again that you're doing a good job, and you will continue to do a good job because leadership matters. None of them calling in, or even other media, saying how grateful they are. Up until now, we don't have any active case. Up until now, nobody has died. Up until now, you're still in control, fighting the COVID-19. They don't want to hear about that. They want to hear the wrong thing. I make noise for the media to get information, and you make sure that information is out there of what is going on in St. Kitts. You make sure that the media is informed is what Team Unity is doing. And that is something that I must commend you for. The work that you continue to do because leadership matters. Now you have Mr. Hamilton there, put him back in NHC. Look at the kind of houses that you have moved from to you now have. Greater house, larger house, bigger rooms, better tiles, better painting, more yard space. Now, this is what you call leadership matters. And this is what the country is doing. And we want to hear people calling and say, thank you, Prime Minister. Thank you, Prime Minister. Because you is what we call leadership, and leadership matters into this country. Mr. Hamilton, in terms of the garbage, having another additional person, what you should look at, again, is having those bins. Because a lot of persons have garbage in their yard, want to get rid of. Just during election, there was a very good program. I'm not sure if it was on the solid waste. I know for sure in Oldwood, Minister Grant had some bins around. And trust me, the amount of garbage that came out of people's yard, it was great. People's yard are now lighter. Right? The inspectors can now move freely, see your yard and smile. So that's something that you can look at. The bins is important. Because there's those small little bins, they only can hold a plastic bag of garbage. People have like washing machine, fridge and those kind of stuff. They need to get rid of them. So by doing that, that will help, the whole process of getting the garbage to the dump. But Mr. Prime Minister, keep your head on. Keep your head on and stand straight. Bucky got it and Bucky always got it. They ain't like what I'm saying and they ain't like what I'm doing. But I'm behind you. And who vex, and I'm sorry for them. But you are showing true leadership, and leadership matters. I thank you. You have a good night. And remember, keep on your head. As the country open, you want to see your thing go. If you're making us about school open tomorrow, everybody want everything to rush off. But you're taking your time. They don't see the hard work you're doing in the ministry. meetings after meetings. Sometimes I wonder how you're doing it. So let them know you're working hard and you will continue to work hard. And whenever who is ready, they will get their turn to lead. But now you are the leader. And if the country and the ministry decide we want to give you the next 5 more years, well, next 5 more years, because leadership matters.
Caller, good night. You're live on Leadership Matters.
Good night.
Good night.
Hello?
We can hear you. There's a little bit of feedback. Yes.
I want to commend the Prime Minister on his leadership skills, that how he has handled the pandemic in this country. His leadership skills are extremely well, and he's doing good for this country. Okay, Prime Minister, I just want to tell you, stay focused and don't lose sidetrack. I don't know how people can hate Timothy Harris, who have a good, genuine heart and a genuine man. Prime Minister, stay focused. You have run this country right, and we're pushing forward with you. And I would like to ask a question to Eugene Hamilton. I would like to know if the corporation, NAC, have money in the corporation, or when they're going to put money in the corporation. I thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. Good night. You're live on Leadership Matters.
Good evening.
Good evening. Go ahead, please.
Yes, good evening, Mr. PM, and good evening, Mr. Hamilton. Mr. Hamilton, for some time we've been hearing about the National Health Scheme, which started off in your first term in office. I would like to get an update on that, because let me see, we can look forward to a system like that, because paying for health services is very expensive for the many in our society. So that would be of a great help to many persons in the country. And for the PM, is there a body that looks and balances the needs of housing against the needs for agriculture? We are a very small land mass, both St. Kitts and Nevis. And I've been hearing, as tonight, for example, from Mr. Hamilton, about the need for the expansion of housing and that kind of thing. But for every house that one puts down, whether it's the NHC or private concerns that put down housing, use up agricultural land. At the same time, remember in your previous Leadership Matters, you're speaking about the need for being self-sustainability in agriculture, being able to feed ourselves. So where is there a body that balances the need for housing versus the need for agriculture? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think we'll take about 2 more calls. Good night. You're live on Leadership Matters.
Good night, madam.
Good night. Go ahead,
and
please.
Good night to those on the panel. And good man abroad. Mr. Prime Minister, I must say to you and the cabinet, and for all who advise in the background and things, you folks are doing a really good job. And don't talk about the COVID-19. We have done the best in the entire world. You hear it? In the entire world, we have done the best. Two questions. Mr. Eugene Hamilton and Mr. Prime Minister, please to lay out the second phase of the stimulus package for the general public again, because, Mr. Hamilton, a number of complaints has come for the last several weeks that people are going down to Social Security and checking, because the last...
Hello, caller?
Good night to the Honorable Prime Minister.
Good night.
Good night.
And good night to the Honorable Eugene Hamilton. Mr. Prime Minister, I want to commend you and your cabinet. I believe you all are doing a wonderful job for the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. And I want to commend the People's Action Movement and the CCM over the Nevis and the PLP to come together to rescue this country from the disaster this country was into. I know that under this COVID-19, Prime Minister, that I always say a God sent, and I know that you has come to deliver to the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, and you're doing it. You understand? It proved to that you God sent, because under this COVID-19, the situation of the Federation into right now, you understand? To other part of the world. We ain't boasting, we ain't trying to boast, because when the border open, we know what could take place. But I call in the citizens of this federation to continue to pray. We are God-praying people. We are Christian-minded people. We go to church here regular, especially every Sunday and Saturday. And people, this is a serious, serious challenge we got in life, especially in the world. So when the border open up, you all try to put on your mask, sanitize your hand, try to protect yourself. And the school opening, we all know that. I want to commend the Ministry of Education. I believe Mr. General Powell, for his first term, he's doing a wonderful job. And Mr. Prime Minister, I want us to continue to do the work of the people of the Federation and don't study the negative talk we're going around trying to drive wedge and saying all kind of negative, because this won't work for the country. I do not think you're from the country, and this, in spite of whatever political party you're supporting, and this party doing, the government going and doing well, you're supposed to endorse the country and praise the country, and not try every day come on different talk shows and try to bring down the country. So, Mr. Prime Minister in the cabinet, I know you can't do it, Johan. You got your advisors, them and everybody out there helping you, working with you. And I want to commend you. Mr. Grant, you have a wonderful job. You're doing a good job too. God bless.
Thank you, caller. Okay, the callers asked quite a number of questions. We don't want to lose track of them, so I will invite callers to phone in again in maybe another 10 minutes, but I will give the Honorable Minister Eugene Hamilton and the Honorable Prime Minister a chance, an opportunity to respond to the matters that you raised. Before I turn to Minister Hamilton, please, we have a lot of callers who phone in, so please restrict your time on air to just ask a question or two. Thank you very much. We want to get in as many people as possible. Thank you. Honorable Minister Hamilton.
Thank you, Valencia Grant. I noticed quite a lot of them have been targeted for me to respond to. So I will begin with sanitation, because the mention was made of persons throwing mattresses on the roadside and deliberately dirtying the communities. And of course, mention was also made of garbage in the backyards. But I like what the last caller said about prayers, because we need prayers. We pray to our God. But I want us who pray to understand that when we pray also to change our own habits. Because no matter how you pray, you don't think you could influence God, but you could influence your own habits. So the habits you have of throwing garbage on the street, pray to change your habits so that you do not throw mattresses and old derelict things on the road and cause health challenges. Pray, of course, so that your neighbors could change their habits. And that, I think, will be the real powerful purpose of the prayers, to get persons to change their habits about the way they do things that cause havoc, things that create a challenge for us in the country. So that in terms of the mattresses on the sidewalk, any solid waste management has introduced what we call litter wardens. And we have even now put our litter wardens to work until late at night, because persons use the opportunity late to put garbage anywhere and everywhere. And I am pushing those litter wardens to issue tickets to those who they find violating this practice is not a good one. Issue tickets to them who deliberately put garbage. I saw the work that was done to clean up Holiday Inn. I'm not sure if many people looked at it. It was a massive task where people could find that Holiday Inn is a place to dump garbage. And there are several other places around the country that they do that. So I want to thank those who worked hard on removing garbage from the Holiday Inn area, Miss Lake, who is at Solid Waste, and the team who assisted her for their hard work. I think Bucky spoke about garbage bins. One of the challenges that Solid Waste had really was that the main truck for taking out the garbage bins was off the road for a while. What I will say though is that 2 years ago, you recall, we started a collection program using the bins, and it was a significant cost to the solid waste management. I think at the time we spent more than $200,000 doing that around the country. And it is really troubling if persons have gone back again and put garbage in those same places to cause us to have to do an exercise like this at that kind of cost. In a year when COVID has reduced income to many institutions, especially government institutions. Government institutions have also been affected by COVID. In fact, solid waste, one of the main sources of income revenue is from the travel industry. People who travel on the flights. It's the environmental levy. That is one of the main sources of income. So I trust that sometime this year, Bucky, we may be able to do something like that again in full force. Of course, that is dependent upon what revenues we have available to us. But again, I go back to prayer. Prayer for those persons to change their habits. It's not about doing it and say, well, solid waste must clean it up. It's about you changing your habits of not doing it at all. That's what is required. Now, someone mentioned about NHC and money. Well, again, I think in the earlier part of this program, I mentioned the fact that NHC itself was affected by COVID. We have also, our revenues are down at this particular time as well. And persons have been affected. They become delinquent. So our programs have been driven mainly by loans over the years, and we will have to move in that direction or a different direction as we move forward. But at this time, I'm sure the Prime Minister will tell you the first quarter report was not a healthy one financially. And so we cannot be callous in the way we spend. We have been very prudent so far. We provided huge stimulus package to individuals. Even paying more monies out in September is part of that program. And so, yes, while NHC may need more resources to continue building more homes, this will be done in a prudent manner. And you will know, you'll be the first to know, because this government is an open government, transparent government. When we are ready to do that, we will publicly put in the public exactly what we are doing and what we are spending to provide homes for individuals. Howell, Jean asked about National Health Insurance Scheme, and perhaps it was one of the things I would have wanted to speak about. You see, because one of the ministry's key priorities for this term is to launch this National Health Insurance Scheme. A tremendous amount of work has been completed. There's one, of course, important component which has to do with the legal drafting of the legislation. That, of course, will not necessarily stop the progress from the process taking place, but of course, drafting legislation to do with it will be done. But you know, everyone knows that, again, I go back to this year, that we have been having, all of us have been having a year where our revenues are down. I will tell you, however, that our vision, and I've spoken to the Prime Minister about this already, is to launch this program in 2021. Ideally, it would be good for the anniversary date of our second term, but it will take some work. We have already put out a plan to approach key stakeholders with some policy questions, and the answers to those questions will ensure that we have covered all of our bases prior to launching that system. And so let me tell you, Jean, why we are really so keen on. Yes, we have our plan to do it because we recognize, and we've told this story many times, of individuals who find themselves in positions where they cannot pay for their medical bills. But St. Kitts and Nevis is a signatory to the UN Sustainable Development Goal. That goal is to ensure that universal health coverage is provided to ensure financial risk protection to those persons in need of health care. The Federation is also a signatory to PAHO's resolution on universal access to health and universal health coverage. And so we have signed that agreement and we are acting upon it because, again, here they keep promoting the concept of universal health care. So the Federation is working diligently. We have put a commission in place. We brought the University of the West Indies Health Economics Unit here. We partnered, we put together a documentation we call the blueprint. We've got our actuary to do the costing. We know what funds we need to find. We just need to do some work to make sure that sometime in 2021 we can launch it, because again, let me go back to the point that while it is needed today, we have to understand that we're in a year where COVID has stripped us of many things that we need to put certain things in place, and we're not going to be callous in starting a program without having it properly planned. So I look forward to something happening in 2021, Jean. I don't think anything else came for me to respond to, except of course the agriculture and the land. There are new methods of doing agriculture nowadays which will not necessarily use so much land. And one of the things that we tend to push is to get people back to also doing their backyard gardens. In Nevis, quite a lot of work is done in backyard gardens. But there are many farmers today that are producing on less land. And while I agree with you that we cannot just expand on housing, one of the things that we have planned for this year, we are going to be doing more regentrification work. Because in Bastia in particular, there are many places that are just abandoned. No one seems to know who the owners are, and I'm going to be pushing for, where no owners have been found, for us to provide, perhaps going to Parliament to acquire and to make the necessary deposits wherever it is, so that we can use those land to rebuild and provide housing for those persons in the Bastia Valley. So yes, you're right, we have to take into account the usage of all of our lands. For what purpose? There was a land use policy that is there, but we are going to have to do more regentrification work. Yes, there's a Ministry of Urban Development, but as the Human Settlement Minister, I'm going to throw myself in it to make sure that regentrification is done, not only in Bastia, but other areas as well, but certainly in Bastia. Bastia is the main area where we have a lot of abandoned properties in all kinds of alleyways, and we need to do something about that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Honorable Prime Minister, I'll invite you to make some remarks, and then I will go to some questions that came in online and via WhatsApp.
Thanks. Very quickly, in terms of the issues raised by John Paul, I am considering making John Paul an official advisor to the office of the Prime Minister. And so, John Paul, I will speak with you. You're a man of the people, and your eyes are everywhere. The vulnerability of the health sector as we open up is a major concern, and that is why we have been, if you will, carefully determining how far we go and at what rate. Did you question, attention to one aspect of that vulnerability, the number of health professionals available to serve the public? That is important. We have very few specialist doctors, and therefore we have to be concerned about those who are at the forefront of the delivery of the health service, advising and preparing the country to respond properly to the COVID pandemic. Because we have so few, we have had to spend substantial sums of money to bring into the country health professionals from Cuba to serve the sector We would not want anything adverse to happen to any of our health practitioners. And that is why, of course, the more we contain the virus, the better it is for everyone. The loss of anyone in the front line will undermine our ability to provide the kind of health care which we think our people deserve. And that is why you see how we are going about it, sector by sector, carefully managing it, learning from experience, and ultimately the last leg, if you will, is the opening up of the international borders, and which we are proceeding on. We are proceeding in that too in a careful way. That is why there is still a requirement for quarantine. But we are conscious that we have a lot of our people too who are in many ways can be considered trapped by COVID in other countries, and they're anxious to get back home. Opening of the borders will allow them to come home to the land of their birth. But we have put every precaution in terms of the quarantine, in terms of testing, and ensuring that they are negative before they would get on the plane. And we will continue to follow the highest standards with respect to that. I agree with you that we should try avoid, by doing the appropriate actions, we should try to avoid having to put the country into a state where we have to get back into lockdowns. The reality is that as we open up, as more people come into our country, the probability that we will have an increase in the cases of infection, that probability gets higher. And that is why we have to do it in a controlled way and take the measures. That is why we continue to urge our people to practice now in advance of the opening up, to do the basic things that will keep them safe and secure, even as we have larger influx of people. Wash your hands regularly with soap. Wear the mask when you're going outdoors. Do all those things that the health experts have advised, and you will do the best job to protect yourself. In terms of the input from Radical Culture, I join him in extended birthday greetings belatedly to Minister Hamilton, and I wish Culture his own happy birthday, that he will have a happy birthday when it comes in the next couple of days. Keeping the island clean, of course, is an individual and collective responsibility, and Mr. Hamilton has made reference to that. Just to add that this government, through the Solid Waste Corporation, invested significantly in keeping our island clean through the provision of bins free of costs to almost every household in St. Kitts. And therefore we want people to properly store their garbage and preserve them for collection. Bucky Gattit is everywhere, and I want to thank him for expressing his own confidence in my leadership, and by extension the leadership of the Team Unity government. We continue to be focused, to ignore the noise and do what is best for the country. At the end of the day, responsibility for leading the country lies with the cabinet and lies more particularly on the shoulders of the Prime Minister. At the end of the day, as you so rightly point out, it is Harris did that, even when I would not have done it. But it goes with the territory. I have prepared myself for this particular opportunity to serve the country, to serve without fear or favor, and to do the very best for every citizen and resident, and I shall continue to focus on this matter. You are right that we have done an excellent job so far in managing the COVID-19, and we should ensure that we continue to do excellently. Follow the advice. There are some persons who are not doing the right thing. I always encourage persons to follow the best example, not the worst one. Again, to Jean Howell and the question, How do we go out planning? The technicians in the Ministry of Sustainable Development, aided by persons and the what we will call the building board, would usually do policy development regarding land use, and these policies are reviewed from time to time. The land use policy would clearly demarcate quantities of land which are available for housing purposes, for commercial, for industrial purposes, and agriculture, and any other imaginable activity. Land basically are being demarcated and put in reserve for specific purposes. And we have been following that. As times evolve, there's been a need to shift some of those policy prescriptions to deal with certain realities. Areas which, for example, may have been set aside originally for residential development, they have from time to time been adjustment to those to accommodate commercial and residential activity in particular areas. With respect to the stimulus package, when in March we announced the stimulus package, the principal components of the $120 million package were set out and were intended to last for 3 months in the first instance. There were some areas, for example, the waiver of water bills, which had been extended for a 6-month period until the end of September. We have also extended the concession with respect to corporation tax, a 24% reduction in corporation tax from 33% to 25%. We have extended for another 3 months, for a total duration of 6 months, the tax paid by unincorporated businesses. This was reduced by 50% from 4% to 2%. We have, as times move along, added certain other elements to jumpstart the economy. We have reduced, for example, the stamp duty and the transfer of real property as a way to boost construction, particularly in CBI program and selected residential development, from 10% to 2.5%. As we speak, we have requested of the governor of the central bank to seek support of the commercial bank in extending for a further period of up to 6 months the moratorium on the payment of mortgages. I had reported in prior engagement with the public that about 1,919 applications were supported for that moratorium, and just over, I think, $408 million, that was the value attached to the mortgages covered. Those programs are continuing, and we await the determination for further extension of these particular matter. The good work that has started by the people in relation to their support for the Team Unity movement, the PLP, PAM, and CCM will continue. And so I want to thank Mr. Politics to say that this was an historic moment, a moment in the political life of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis which brought dividends, the best ever performance on the balance sheet of the country, the best ever performance in public infrastructure development in the country, the best ever performance in terms of the reforms we brought to the health sector, the coming and stream of a mental health care treatment facility, the rebuilding of the Mary Charles Hospital in Molyneux, the addition of the oncology or cancer wing at JNF Hospital. All these are landmark achievements. The outreach to those with disabilities, the provision in, I think it was New Road, St. Peter's, of a free plot of land for the Association of Persons with Disabilities. All these are part of the track record of the government in service to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. I want to pause here so that we can take some more calls.
Thank you very much, Honorable Prime Minister. We have a caller on hold. Good night. You're live on Leadership Matters.
Good night, Mr. PM. This is Dumpling speaking. And good night, Mr. Hamilton. Mr. Hamilton, I want you to come up by point, yeah? Because we have a lot of issue up here with the house then. And some of us ain't getting none of the garbage can. You understand? So I would like you to come and see us and we talk one-to-one with you. We have some problem up here. And to Mr. PM, Mr. PM Dumpling is calling to say, thanks Mr. Mittal and the Defense Force, a former student, get with Mr. Mittal and the head teacher. The head teacher does do a good job. She does try to call them to assist her with work and so down there and they just ignore people long. But the Defense Force and Mr. Mittal come and they clean up down there good. Good, Mr. PM. And I want you to sit Mr. Mittal with Putapia Alley and Cho Sot Alley want to clean. So I want you to help him to get the workers to come through to clean up down there in a terrible, awful state. I don't know if when you walk in, when we had election, when you're walking around, if you did see how down there look. So Mr. PM, I love you and you're doing a good work. Sure, go and practice and sing me little song. All kind of people call me name in America. Say how me abuse people and me abuse all of just so give Patrick a little warning and tell him he must laugh. But Mr. PM is doing a good job. You and the CCM and the PAM party join together when under the clock and I decide that to term a man. So I don't know where this load of confusion all about. Let us walk with this, Mr. PM and Mr. Hamilton. See you all, drive safe home. Good night. This is Dumpling again.
Good night. Good night. Thank you very much. Good night, caller. You're live on Leadership Matters. Could you please move away from your TV set, your radio, your computer, or just turn it down and speak straight into the phone? Thank you. Good night. You're live on Leadership Matters.
Prime Minister Harris and Honorable Hamilton. First of all, I would like to start by thanking you all for your service to the country. Now, there are two concerns or questions. First, I am not sure if your cabinet have considered or is planning to have housing or make it much easier for first-line workers such as police officers, members of the Defense Force, firemen, and nurses. Make it easier for them to obtain mortgages or housing through the NHC. Okay? That is a big concern for many of the members. And also I look at it as though it would be an incentive to attract more workers or locals to join such institutions. Next thing, I've observed recently that there is apartment that was contributed to Petrocarib. There was one built at Wellington Road, if I'm correct, to the Petrocarib. Is that so? Hello?
Put the question.
Okay. Well, should those such apartments or programs that are come to like Petrocarib or outside help, is it possible for any of them to be built in Nevis as well? Seeing that we have a unity party, I would love to see something as such being done in Nevis as well. I know I see you, there are some beautiful apartments as well here in St. Kitts in the Shadwell area. Right. Can such things be discussed and done in Nevis as well? Okay, that's it for me. Thank you all for the opportunity and keep doing a good job.
Thank you very much, caller. Good night. You're live on Leadership Matters.
Good night, Mr. PM. I'm asking you to put on your national security jacket. Persons living close to the coast have been reporting recently lights seen going in and out of our shores. We are going to assume that there are persons being smuggled into the country and being aided and abetted by locals. What can be done about increasing the fines and penalties for persons who aid and assist persons to be smuggled into our country, especially knowing that some of the places these smuggled personnel come from are countries that are loaded with the COVID-19, which we're trying to avoid at much cost. Yes, persons make money out of smuggling in people, but at the same time, it could be costing us our lives. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. Good night. You're live on Leadership Matters.
Hello, good evening. I'm asking a question. As of late, they said they're not accepting rapid tests for COVID-19 for you to enter St. Kitts. But we received over 3,000 rapid test kits from Taiwan last Monday. And the Minister of Health said that those rapid test kits are timely because they're going to be used in the reopening of the borders. So my question is, how can we use rapid test kits and not accept rapid test kits and preparing to use them, but you're still not accepting rapid test results? And I am one of the persons who feel that citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, whether you have citizenship by economically, marriage, birth, whichever form, that you shouldn't be subjected to do a test to return home. People should come home, meet at the border, be checked at the border, and be quarantined from that end. Not that you had to take a test over in a foreign land where you take the test 5 days ago, you could contract the COVID within that time, get on a plane and still come down because you don't have your test. But your test is 5 and 6 days old, and then you travel. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Good night. You're live on Leadership Matters.
Yes, good night. Good night.
We can hear you.
Yes, good night, Mr. Prime Minister. This is Jam down here. Mr. PM and Mr. Hamilton, good night. Mr. Hamilton, I have 2 questions to ask. We want to know why the people who get in NHC houses not paying. And you all can't play with this because we're in the middle of a pandemic. These people join Social Security money. Me ain't get no money because me little change going through and they say nothing for me. These people can't be benefiting for and not paying the house rent. Mr. PM, I'm preaching to you. I'm bawling right down on the port calling you. I'm bawling to you on the walkway. Please allow these people to pay. I don't carry them over a limo. This thing is awful. I listen on Sunday night during the little thing with NHC got. The staff is saying that so much of people ain't paying. Come on, man. The government providing for you all, helping you all, and you all ain't paying. The next thing I want to tell my Prime Minister, the best in the world, Mr. PM, don't care what small boat we got up there by the Deepwater Harbor. It cannot stop what's going on in St. Kitts in the Bay them. We have some people come to this country to make a living, and they're bringing in people illegal. You have to take it Very serious. My advice to you, speedboat, cigarette can't help out this situation. We need chopper. When you see we get back and we foot and we start to generate money, Mr. PM, please to start negotiate to cover these border with choppers. Why police running on the road? You got chopper over you, just like St. Thomas and in America. We got to take this thing to the another level. Mr. PM, let me give you a little advice. I haven't finished just now.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I think we lost that caller. I apologize for that. Okay, we will pause with the call-ins right now. It's 10 minutes before 10 o'clock. I'll give the Honorable Minister and Honorable Prime Minister an opportunity to respond, and then we'll go through some questions that came in online and via WhatsApp. Honorable Minister Hamilton?
Yes, I said Prime Minister, my mistake. Come up Pine Gardens Dumpling. You made it clear. I think the entire nation has heard you. I will be up there to have this one-on-one chat with you, as you say, to see what's happening in the Pine Garden area. I know you mentioned that some persons didn't get garbage bins. That is something that we will be reviewing in short order, where the government can provide additional support. We will, or we will find a solution that will be helpful. Then, of course, there was the mention about Prickly Pear Alley and other alleys to clean up, Salt Pan Alley, and so I've been through there myself. I want to suggest that while, and I spoke earlier about gentrification, and I have seen firsthand some of the areas. I was in Salt Pan Alley on more than one occasion and saw that some properties there are just dumping grounds. And I did invite the urban planner to prepare something for the government to consider. And I'm going to be working on getting that done. As Minister of Human Settlement, I intend to engage those persons on urban development. And I believe you're right that that's part of Bastia, the Prickly Pear Alley, the Salt Pan Alleys, those properties, they really need to be cleaned up. In some cases, bulldozed and dumped. And so we will be taking serious action about that, as I said earlier. If necessary, bring the matters before my cabinet to be taken to Parliament for action to be done. We are going to have to do work there so that persons can then occupy and live there, rather than have dumping grounds in the middle of our beautiful city of Bastia. Has Cabinet considered making housing available for police? I believe I let the Prime Minister respond to that one. However, I will just say I recall the Prime Minister providing funds in the Development Bank for public servants to access, and I don't know how many persons accessed it, but I'm sure that is something, once there's a demand, that the government will be visiting again, and I'll leave the rest for the Prime Minister to crystallize for you. I will leave the apartment at Wellington Road also for the Prime Minister to crystallize. I think the person was asking about PDB. I will leave that for the Prime Minister to crystallize as well. Lights on our shores, again I'd leave that for the Prime Minister to crystallize. And jam down, why people who get in NHC houses not paying? You know, some families, I believe, have had difficulty in the last few months for sure, and so some of that, the recent delinquency could not be avoided, and there have been some who, you know, you have a variety of reasons. You may even have, I know that there are houses in New Road, for example, where hurricane damage and the person decide not to pay and it's just on the books. There are all kinds of reasons why you may have some delinquencies. What is clear is that there's a new direction, a new direction and leadership in the institution, which is not necessarily, as you jammed and put it, cutting off somebody's feet or cutting off somebody's nose or putting them before the court. But the institution could apply a friendly approach, an approach which communicates with the individual and show them ways of how to resolve the issues that they have. That has been put in place just this last month, a new approach to invite people in. On occasion, earlier I think I said that one of the ways to avoid building up, really making yourself become a slave to a payment is to pay late. Because interest is added on, and that interest keeps adding on. And so we have to discuss with them. Some of it might mean we have to reschedule the loan. You know, there are methods that can be used. We are focusing on that because we have recognized what the numbers are, which you heard on the ear you said the other day. We have now put in place a program that will engage all of those persons who are dealing with NHC so that they can look forward to a new arrangement, something which makes them avoid paying unnecessary interest. So in the next report, maybe on the 25th anniversary, you may very well hear a much different story because of what we have done in the next year, between now and September next year.
Quickly, in response to the matter of the illegal entrance into the country, these matters, of course, fall in the purview of law enforcement, and I'm not aware of any recent illegal entrance into the country. Nonetheless, we continue to be vigilant, and I'm sure that the persons who are responsible for border management, including the head of our defense force, our immigration department, and the police, have all taken note of the call. Managing our waters continues to be a challenging one for every small country. We have reached out to some of our strategic partners, for example, the government of the United States of America, for support in the provision of suited drones that could help us more efficiently manage and provide surveillance and monitoring of our waters. I can report that request is being favorably considered, according to the last conversation I would have had with the ambassador resident in Barbados for the government of the United States of America. And so we want to apply technology. We believe that this will provide a more efficient and effective response in terms of monitoring. And we certainly are reaching out to other countries neighboring our borders to ensure that we could have better intelligence sharing on that particular matter. The caller who expressed his views with respect to the testing is in fact a requirement not just in St. Kitts and Nevis, but everywhere. And part of the reason for the testing before you come is to ensure that every passenger who enters on a vessel, every passenger that boards a plane should be negative in terms of COVID-19 infection. And the only way we can assure that the disease is not being spread through persons interacting with others is that everyone should be and must be tested. So that is there for health reasons, and there is no way of avoiding that. I think almost every country would require those who are entering, except in cases where there is a bubble. A bubble means that among countries of like status, for example, some countries in Europe who have very low infection rate may say, well, if my citizen is coming to your country, we will make certain waivers or special provisions to accommodate, and there will be reciprocity. within the CARICOM region, every traveler to one of these islands from some of the main places from which tourists travel, the USA, Canada, United Kingdom, Europe, they all require that persons would have tests in advance. And in fact, it is now a condition for boarding these airlines to get to a particular destination. There is no way around that. And so the testing then is a preemptive measure to contain and to ensure, whether through inadvertence or otherwise, passengers do not get, as it were, infected with the COVID-19. And it's not just the passengers who are tested, but crew members are also being tested. I shall raise with the CMO the issue to do with the matter of rapid tests. Suffice it to say that the knowledge and science in relation to the efficacy, in relation to the usefulness of those devices is one that is in a state of flux. Our policy up to this point still remains that we will only use the molecular tests, and that is what obtains in St. Kitts and Nevis. The fact that we have received a donation of rapid test kits does not change the factual reality. And as I said, at particular points in the development, in the spread of the COVID-19, a certain understanding prevails as people get more learned, in a manner of speaking, with respect to the disease, then it is possible that certain changes will be made. But for now, we do not utilize the rapid tests. We do not know what the future holds. That is a matter which the CMO and Dr. Wilkerson and the other health professionals will advise us from time to time. Our response to these matters have always been and will continue to be driven by the science. Has the Cabinet considered making it easier for persons to access home via the NHC? The answer is yes. And we are satisfied in our own minds that the NHC, as presently configured, will not be able to provide a home to every person who wishes to have one. And that the NHC in the main should be targeting persons at the lower income. Indeed, that is mandated by the legislation that sets up the NHC. What we have done in the country and what we want to have happen is for people to access mortgage financing at the most affordable rate. That is the lowest possible interest rate and on terms which allows them to be able to afford a home. And so part of what we have to do is to also ensure competition in terms of mortgage providers, that is those who are providing financing, and competition in terms of those who are producing or supplying housing solutions. We therefore have encouraged more private people to buy land, whether from the government or private parties, and to build homes and to make them available, to assist in ensuring that the price, the mortgage or the rental rates are manageable. We have determined that we will consider giving concessions, duty-free concessions and material once certain requirements are being met. We have, for example, with respect to the project at Juas being built out by TDC, there are some 30 middle-income homes, I am advised, which are to be built, starting hopefully this month or next month. And before the Cabinet is a proposal for consideration, some relief, some reduction with respect to the stamp duty. The stamp duty that obtains now is at 10%, and Cabinet is looking favorably at some adjustment in that, not only for TDC, but any other developer, any other private person who can afford to make homes available, because the larger the supply relative to the demand, then the prices will shift to the advantage of those who want to get homes. So that is how we are doing it. Minister Hamilton is right. Again, we have intervened in the market in a direct way. We put about $30 million into the development bank to provide loans at the lowest possible rate in the market at 5%. And we will continue as the financial health of the country improves to make these interventions to ensure that people can afford homes. The project at Wellington Road, it's an ongoing matter. We are hoping very soon to have the distribution of the first batch of buildings that have been completed for residential purpose. And at that particular ceremony, we will make a more comprehensive statement with respect to that project and housing in general. Suffice it to say that the location of the properties through cooperation with the Venezuelan government was a joint one. And in fact, they took into account several considerations. The choice of East Bastille was impacted by the fact that also in that community, there's a substantial number of persons from the Hispanic community. The president of Venezuela, when he visited, took note of that particular fact, and that particular site was the first of the several other sites which were being contemplated. At this moment in time, it is difficult for me to speak on behalf of the government of Venezuela. Indeed, I'm not in a position so to do, and so I won't attempt to speak about expansion of this particular program. I believe those were the issues that have been put, and I would pause at this moment in time and to take other questions if there are.
Thank you very much, Honorable Prime Minister. The production team at ZIZ has told me that the Honorable Prime Minister and his administration, members of his administration, have answered roughly 638 questions since the start of Leadership Matters. For your information, we're now on episode number 19 of Leadership Matters. Leadership Matters started in late March and resumed sometime in June after a brief break. So we're on episode 19, and more than 600 questions have been answered on air. Questions have come in online via WhatsApp. Questions keep coming in even after the end of the programs via WhatsApp and online, on the street, etc. So we are grateful for your interest and the level of interaction. I have several questions. I will just go through them quickly because we're over time, and then after that I will invite the Honorable Minister Hamilton and the Honorable Prime Minister to deliver their closing remarks. Okay, so housing is a theme here in these questions. 3 questions. Firstly, can any indication or information be given at the moment on when the government will resume the building of low-income housing? The second one, in which constituencies or communities will the homes be built? And what type of homes will be constructed? Townhouses, individual homes, or both? And then someone wanted to know about the poverty alleviation program. They said there's a rumor that the $500 a month to qualifying head of households will be stopped. So please let us know. Then there's another question concerning the STEP program becoming, they'd like an update on it becoming part of the government establishment. And then there's a question by an airline worker who was made redundant in March/April, and they'd like an update. They're a bit concerned that they haven't received their package yet. They'd like some info on that. So I'll invite the Honorable Minister Hamilton to answer questions, and perhaps you could include that or combine that with your closing remarks if you'd like to.
Thank you again. I will respond to any indication or information be given at the moment and when the government will resume the building of low-income housing homes. Let me say that the government has not stopped the construction of any low-income housing projects. As we speak, some are being constructed in St. Peter's, some are being constructed in Conyers. There are areas around the country where other construction is taking place and almost complete. But if you're speaking to a new program, that will be something that we will address in the not too distant future. But if you recall, $50 million was put into the project of housing around about 2017. And I can share with you that in the last 5 years, mainly because of that project from the Social Security and others, NHC has embarked on building over 500 units broken up this way, or independent habitat houses. There were 92 of them, which we completed when we came to office. That had been not complete. We found money to finish them. And then we built 334 houses under the Unity Housing Solution program. We were to build 300, but using some additional resources from NHC, we built 334. And then, of course, we built some bank-funded housing. In other words, persons who came to NHC were directed to the bank, and bank funded the program NHC built. And so a total of 512 houses passed through the hands of NHC during this last 5-year period. And as we speak, as I said, some are being worked on right now. If you go to Conyers, you will see there are about maybe somewhere close to 12 or 8, between 12 and 18 that are under construction. We have a program set up to build in Toyon Heights, that's near Challengers. As we speak, there is work going on in St. Peter's with some townhouses. As a matter of fact, it is unique in that the townhouses have, for the first time, we have a 3-bedroom unit, because we consider that the older folks living with the younger ones may not want to be climbing stairs all day, every day. And of course, we built some unique ones, what we call studio apartments in Paris. And there are other areas where work is going on right now, some not necessarily done by NHC. I know that in Lodge, for example, there was a project going on there, working through the Development Bank, where low-income houses are being constructed. But a new project similar to the Unity Housing Program will come on stream, and you will hear more about it. When that starts, everyone will know. And you're asking what type of houses will be built? Yes. We built a house for a gentleman in Connery, a 1-bedroom unit, and it seems everybody's attracted to it. And I will invite you to go and take a look at it, because at a young age of maybe 21, if I had gotten that for me, that would be wonderful. So it is one that helps to reduce the cost of the house right down. If persons are interested in the 1-bedroom units, so we will do. We will do that as well, because that gives you a start. We have built houses where we did not put on any galvalume on the roof. We built a concrete roof. Individuals can go upstairs, build upstairs, and continue to expand if the family, of course, increases. And so we have been very flexible. And so while we have built townhouses, while we have built 2-bedroom houses, and in some cases 3-bedroom, we have gone to some houses where the family has grown, and we have put on 2 bedrooms to accommodate the large family. And we will continue to do that. But, as the Prime Minister mentioned earlier, we have engaged private sector, public private sector partners to help grow the housing plant in the country, the housing which is required for not only the low income but middle and upper income. And there are some being done indoors, and we have other persons we are engaging right now who are proposing to us some wonderful models for middle and upper middle income persons, so that we are satisfying not only those who are low income earners but who are middle income as well. So look forward to that under the housing program. In which constituencies or communities will homes be built? Team Unity has a reputation of building in every community. There is no community that we have not constructed a home. And by community, and if you speak in terms of parishes, every parish has had homes built in them. We built in St. Paul's, we built in Sadler's, we built almost every little village and town. But in every community we have constructed houses, in Keys, in Connery, in St. Peter's, in the village. I mean, I can't name all of them from my head right now, but almost every community saw construction taking place under the Team Unity administration. In the new term, this term, we will do the same again, build in every area. And as I mentioned earlier, we'll be looking at the regentrification projects. Even in some communities where they abandoned homes, where persons have gone away and no families connected, we have to work on those so that we can rebuild the communities, provide housing for persons rather than expanding into new areas alone. So look forward to more activity in this term. I think I answered the question a bit about what type of homes, and I can indicate that again, we believe that even a single bedroom unit, not necessarily studio, but a single bedroom unit would be useful for a young person who finds himself maybe starting a family or wanting to be on his own. And we will go into those type of construction in the new term as well. Those answer the housing question. I would like to close off then, Madam Chair, with the COVID payment, because I think there was a question on that earlier which I probably did not respond to. But just to say that this month of September, we are making a payment again to employees who have been so affected by COVID that they may still not have any employment at all and no income. There's a list of persons that we expect that the employers or former employers will submit to the corporation, to Social Security, and every list will be verified that that person or those persons have not returned to employment anywhere else and they have no income. The pre-existing applicants who got before, you're not necessarily required to apply again. You just get your information verified by the Social Security and you may qualify. Those who have never applied, there may be some who may have found themselves in unemployment since we started making payments up to June. You have to do an application, or your employer submit your names with some application. The list of employers and any new application form must be submitted to the Social Security Board no later than the 18th of September. The 18th of September, because by the 25th of September we expect to just roll the payments out for all those who have been verified. Persons in receipt of Social Security pensions or benefits are not eligible for the payment. If you're getting a pension from Social Security, you don't qualify. Disability income, you don't qualify. You do not qualify if you're already receiving things like PAP, the Poverty Alleviation Program payment. You do not qualify. You do not qualify if you have applied for severance and have received your severance payments. Severance payments could go as far as 52 weeks pay. And those who may qualify and have already received that do not qualify. If you have not received it, you qualify. An employee who has filed for and received his or her redundancy, again let me repeat it, will not be eligible if you receive it. Self-employed persons with the tourism industry who are registered before March 1st can qualify. There may be those persons who went to register primarily because you're making payments. You really do not qualify. You should register and be paying. Except, of course, you become a self-employed person since COVID is here. So, applications will be thoroughly vetted. Those include persons who are taximen, beach braiders, beach vendors, souvenir vendors, monkey vendors, or tour guides. All of you who can satisfy that you have been registered and have paid your Social Security, you can still qualify for that. All officers are asked to verify those payments to ensure that everything is on the up and up. Self-employed persons receiving any form of income, if you move to another employment and you're just partial income, you still do not qualify either. Those in other industries will be subject to verification on approval on a case-by-case basis. We expect, based on the numbers of persons who we are told are still affected by COVID, that some 3,000 or thereabout persons will benefit from the payment in September. Government is pleased to be of assistance to families as they experience some hardship, and in addition to the $120 million stimulus and this near $30 million package from Social Security, the government stands ready to make sure that each family, that there is no family that suffers because they do not have an income. I'm sure that there will be other programs rolled out as we go along, but we don't know what the future holds, so we look forward to working with you so that you and your family do not suffer as a result of COVID. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. I now invite the Honorable Prime Minister to answer questions and deliver his closing remarks.
Thank you very much, Madam Press Secretary. With respect to the matter or the rumor surrounding the stopping of the $500 poverty alleviation payment, that rumor has no basis. The government has implemented this program. We intend to continue this program. This has brought meaningful support and improved the living conditions of thousands of persons on the island of St. Kitts and on the island of Nevis. And I'm particularly pleased that we have been able to bring this initiative in place that have brought some sense of pride and dignity, especially to vulnerable people, our elderly grandmothers and mothers who can now have their own pocket money to spend. It has assisted in the enhancement of the dignity of the young lady who now has some money that she can pay her mortgage, and we hear a lot about that. So it has been a very useful supplement to the income of persons who really do need it. We want to ensure that it only goes to those who are in need, as should such safety net programs, and we will continue to review it, but we shall not stop it to the detriment of the people who do require it most. So there is no truth to the rumor, it is a mischief. The second question regarding STEP. When the Cabinet met on Monday, the Cabinet heard a presentation from the committee set up to assist us in making final decisions regarding the transfer of persons from the STEP program onto the government payroll as government auxiliary employees. The committee headed by Mr. Levi Bradshaw, our Accountant General, is working hard and has come up with several policy issues that need further determination. The committee includes Sheridane Warner, the Chief Personnel Officer of the government, Ms. Rattan Mack, Legal Counsel in the Office of the Attorney General, Permanent Secretary Ron Collins, Permanent Secretary Andrew Skerritt, Chief Executive Officer at the STEP program, Mr. Green, and one or two other persons whose name do not come quickly to mind. I want to publicly commend the team for the quality of work that he has brought. They are mindful that we need to make haste on this, but of course we have to do things properly, and we are working with respect to that. So that is an ongoing exercise that is being given active consideration by a very competent and able team. With respect to the caller, or the person who WhatsApped the question regarding they being out of work, they work in the airline industry, I would say to that person that you should make contact with the Labor Commissioner, Ms. Ernal James, and if the response is not appropriate or satisfactory or to your liking, then you should consider directing the question to the Minister of Labor, Ms. Wendy Phipps. We are all, as public servants, committed to hearing, listening, and responding to the citizens and residents of our country. We apologize at times for the delays that may be encountered in attempting to get access. But we promise we will endeavor always to improve, because you, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, are who matter to us. Your lives, your livelihoods, they all are important to the Team Unity administration. We understand poverty. Many of us have lived the life in poverty, a life of poverty. We have emerged from it, so we understand it well. We understand the hardships. We understand not being able to eat a meal because you just do not have it. And that is why I could commit that the $500 assistance will not stop. In fact, we will improve upon it when the finances of the country improves, and we hope that will come in the not too distant future. I promise the people of St. Kitts and Nevis that the government I will lead and the government that I will guide for such a time like this will always be compassionate in its response, sensible in its management of the limited resources of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, and we will spend money always wisely. We will do the very best that we can, and we encourage our citizens in these challenging times, again, to look at what you are spending money on, to ensure that you make adjustment, because in difficult times we cannot live as if times were as good as yesterday. We have to, in this short period of time, make necessary adjustments to the way in which we spend money and the matters in which we are spending. So again, I want to encourage you not to lose hope. We have our representatives who are there. Please take time to meet with them. They can give you guidance as to the publicly available programs which you can access, whether it is the voucher program, whether it is your qualification for free health services. All these will reduce the actual out-of-pocket expenditure. So we want you to collaborate with your representatives, and I remind your representatives to be available to meet with all of you and to address your concerns. Again, I want to say a hearty thank you to all those who took the time to listen. Some have sent questions by WhatsApp and other means. One farmer sent me by phone a question regarding the build-out of Bayfords. When will Bayfords go back to the good old-time days? I don't know if we'll ever get back to good old-time days, but what we can promise you as part of the stronger and safer future, we will utilize every productive resource available to enhance food security. And where there are possibilities for enhancing food security, livestock production, crop production, using what remains of Bayford farms, I will give the direction to the Ministry of Agriculture to pursue them. Because food security has been given new meaning and new substance as we live the reality of the disruption in international trade that can be occasioned by COVID-19. It has been a privilege and an honor for me to serve the people of St. Kitts and Nevis as Prime Minister, and I always will be grateful for the opportunity to serve. My pledge has always been that I will do my very best, mindful that I am no God, but with God's grace, mercies, and wisdom, I will lead St. Kitts and Nevis to the Canaan land. That is the better place, from difficulty to a place of prosperity. Thank you very much for viewing.
Thank you very much, Honorable Prime Minister. So many of you tell us that you tune in to Leadership Matters every Tuesday night, and we want to say how honored we are to have you in our company. Good night.